The Brisbane infrastructure boom is coming. Brisbane is set to see a population growth from 2.2 million to 3 million in 2030. And the local city council, the state government and the federal government are pushing massive amounts of funding into the Brisbane market for key infrastructure projects that are going to change the landscape, allow more access to the city, allow more jobs to be created, and essentially change Brisbane to become a global city that is recognised by the world. I'm going to talk about the major infrastructure projects that are currently underway and that are planned, and we're going to talk about how this might affect the property market and potentially make Brisbane one of the best markets to invest in over the next coming years. The first infrastructure project is the Cross River Rail. This is currently underway on the Woolloongabba station, and they're doing groundworks to dig tunnels and connect the city from north to south. It's essentially going to be a rail network that links all key suburbs from north to south, allowing quick access to the CBD, stopping at Woolloongabba, which is one of the major stadiums in Brisbane. Another massive infrastructure project that's going alongside the Cross River Rail is the Brisbane Metro network. There's been a lot of talk about this Brisbane Metro and how it's going to use the existing busway to essentially put a train-like bus which can hold around 100 or just over 100 people, allowing people quick access to the CBD. So both the Cross River Rail and the Brisbane Metro are huge projects where the government is pumping a lot of money to allow people to catch public transport and will essentially allow the population that's expected to grow by 800,000 people access to the central business district to get to work, to get home, and therefore allow Brisbane to become more accessible to more people. This means suburbs that are situated along these train lines and along the bus stops along the south side are going to be better off. But once this infrastructure is finally completed, people who are located in walking distance to these suburbs are going to be seeing property price growth off the back of better access to the CBD and better access to this infrastructure. Emily and I have personally invested in locations that are walking distance to public infrastructure and public transport that will allow people to get closer to the CBD as we see growing demand in these areas. And people who are wanting to buy a home are going to look for, where can I walk to catch a bus to work, or where can I walk to catch a train to work? Now, compared to Sydney and Melbourne, Brisbane's bus network is highly regarded and people actually regularly catch the bus here. So the Brisbane Metro is going to only further that and utilise the existing network to allow people to get access to their job and access to the city. So that covers transport. Let's take a look at entertainment. Now, Brisbane Live is situated to be built in the Roma Street parklands. The parklands are currently really beautiful. They have great landscaping, great space and great amenities. But Brisbane Live is going to change it for the better. And essentially what they're planning on doing is building a stadium over the Roma Street station, which is going to, one, allow people to get to the stadium easily from lots of locations, and two, allow concerts and events and comedy festivals to be held at this location for a new entertainment space here in Brisbane. So Roma Live isn't going to be competing against Suncorp, which can hold 52,500 people. With 17 or 18,000 seats, it's going to be tailored for smaller shows and allow more events to occur in the Brisbane heart of the CBD and allow people to access those events. Now, there are plenty of suburbs situated around Roma Street parklands, such as Paddington, Petrie Terrace, Spring Hill, Kelvin Grove, Red Hill. There are plenty of suburbs on that inner north side that are almost walking distance to the parklands. So I see those suburbs really benefiting from this infrastructure and the city overall benefiting from another event space which people can easily access. Now let's talk about Brisbane Parklands. One of the things the Brisbane City Council advocates for is community and green space. So also making spaces that are better for the environment and better for people. Victoria Park is currently a golf course on the inner north side of Brisbane, right near the Royal Women's Brisbane Hospital. It's going to be converted into a massive set of parklands for everyone to enjoy, except for the poor golfers that are losing their golf course. But they're planning on building lots of spaces here that are good for the environment and great for the community. They're planning on building things like water holes, rock climbing, kayaking areas, picnic areas, and events areas all over these parklands to allow people to use the space and allow more people who aren't just golfers, I'm sorry if you're a golfer out there, to use the Victoria Park space for everything, anything and everything that's community based. I think this urban space so close to the city is going to be similar to the spaces that have been developed in Singapore and New York, like Central Park. To have such green land close to the city, which so many people can access, is going to, build community, allow people to have events here, and allow so many more people to enjoy nature and enjoy this environment close to the city. Now, there's plenty of suburbs that border Victoria Park on the inner north of Brisbane, so these suburbs are really going to see a benefit from being able to easily walk or easily catch public transport to the park and use these amenities. The fifth and final project that I really want to talk about in this video is the Queen's Wharf development. This is a $3.6 billion infrastructure project that is going to drive tourism into Brisbane, make the city a new space, create a casino, create hundreds of shops and hotels all in the one building. Now, they're also going to build a new pedestrian bridge that's going to connect the South Bank side of the river to the new Queen's Wharf precinct. This is going to be a great boost for Brisbane's economy, and it's going to drive tourists into the Brisbane market for a new experience and state-of-the-art technology and building. And it's going to become a landmark building that's going to change Brisbane's landscape forever. Now, if you're looking to invest in Brisbane as a whole, in either the north, inner east, south, or inner west, then this infrastructure project is good for everyone. It's creating jobs through its construction, and it's going to create more economic benefits through the jobs that people obtain and the money that's going to be spent after the project is completed. I'm really excited about what this project's going to turn out and look like, and the new bridge that's being built, and I see this as a big win for Brisbane. Now, finally, I wanted to talk about the Olympic Games. The Olympics are set to announce whether Brisbane is being a host on July 21st, so a couple of days from now, potentially when this video comes out. So if Brisbane manages to also get the Olympic Games along with these massive infrastructure projects going in, Brisbane's going to have over $15 billion spent in the next few years to build its infrastructure and handle a growing population coming from both interstate and abroad. Now, what does all of this infrastructure and potentially an Olympic Games mean for property? Now, in those key demand suburbs that are in the inner and middle ring of Brisbane, they're going to see the largest demand from interstate and overseas buyers. I can only see the Brisbane market going from strength to strength over the next 10 years as the infrastructure continues to be developed. People can get more access through the Brisbane Metro and the Cross River Rail. These projects like Roam Alive and the Parklands will allow people more event spaces and more community spaces, and Queen's Wharf going in the centre of the CBD is going to change the landscape and really drive tourism and create jobs for everyone in the Brisbane scene. So I'm really excited about the infrastructure that's coming, and I really see strong opportunities to buy into the Brisbane market over the next 5 years and ride this wave of growth. Given that the amount of money that's going to be spent on this market and the amount of money that's being printed and pushed into our economy, asset prices are going to continue to inflate, and Brisbane is becoming one of the most in-demand cities after Melbourne and Sydney have already had massive runs of growth over the last 10 years. If you'd like to see my picks for 5 boom suburbs in the Brisbane market for the second half of 2021, click here. See you in the next video.